Hey everyone, it's Laura in Louisville, and this video is going to be for our agents out there that are looking for ways to grow without necessarily burning out. I'm here to share everything that worked for me in 2025 and some of the things that didn't. Now, some of you may think this message is not going to be for you. I've been in the business 11 years. You may have only been in the business 6 months. I can promise you that the things that you're going to hear will apply to you no matter how long you've been in the business. So I always think it's important to reflect at the end of the year what has worked and what was not working, because we're trying to maximize our time. I've got 3 kids. I want to be home with my family, but I also want to serve my clients. I don't want to assume old ways of doing it are the ways that we should continue doing it. And why do you want to hear it from me? Well, I've been at it for 11 years and it's actually working. You can look at the last 11 years and every year we increase just a little bit, and that's all we're trying to do every year. We had at the Opry team our best year to date in one of the markets that has really been the worst that we have seen in the real estate industry in the last probably 3 to 4 years. In Q1, I sold 1 house. So when I was sitting at our table here in our office with my assistant, I was stressing big time. And what I didn't realize in those months of January, February, and March is we were planting seeds. You have to trust the process, which I learned a lot about. You know the work that you do is going to come in eventually. Sometimes you just don't know how much. And so March of 2025, I was in high stress mode. If I'm being perfectly honest. And so we just stayed the course and stuck to the things that we know are important, which is giving value to our clients as much as we possibly can, showing up for them with genuine curiosity in how we can help them, and just being a resource for them when real estate comes to mind. Honestly, the biggest surprise of the year is that we did have the year that we had, because sitting at that table in March knowing like we got a lot of work in front of us and we've got to figure this out and we got to trust what we have been doing and keep doing it, not giving up on it, did prove that it does pay off. It doesn't pay off every time, but it did pay off for us this year. So when we look back on how did this year result in the way that it resulted in a time in the market where most would say they had their worst year. And I have to look back and go, it was the building blocks of all of the years. It wasn't some magic wand that got pulled. It was really just the culmination of years and years of refining and building. We have built all of our systems and processes, SOPs, around creating an exceptional client experience. They want honesty, they want communication, consistent communication, and they want it to be genuine. They don't care, I hate to say this, what I look like, or I mean, I could be coming up in my, workout clothes and my tennis shoes, but they just want to know that they are getting the level of trust between them and me as their agent, that I have their back 100% of the time. And if they feel that, that's all they care about. So we try really hard to create a very personal approach with how we go about this. One example would be every Tuesday, I make my phone calls to all of my clients. So they know on Tuesdays, I'm getting on the phone with them. We're talking about what's going on in their process. And I'm gonna be there to answer questions they have and just have a good conversation about what's going on either in their world, maybe we're not even under contract yet, or once we are under contract. I know you all want the nitty-gritty of what is actually moving the needle so you can take away tangible information. And so when I look back and we've done some of these informational interviews, the first thing that comes is direct, honest communication. And you build that rapport in the first meeting that you have with them and you establish that. There's not one buyer or one seller that we don't have an in-person consultation with. And that establishes the trust that is going to carry you from first meeting through post-close, 12 months, 16 months, 18 months after closing, where they will continue to come bring referrals and those types of things. But we establish that very early on, and we get feedback from them after we closed that very specifically distinguished us against our competition with other agents, because we took the time to sit down with them and meet them with where they're at, to understand their fears, to understand what they want, understand, do they understand the contract? Do they not understand the contract? And explain all of that and not walk away with any assumptions being made. And that truly is a distinguishing factor between us and other agents. So as a real estate agent, one of the most important jobs I find that I have, whether I'm working with buyers or sellers, is managing their expectations. And to allow me to do that is to understand what their greatest fears are. And in having all of the buyer consultations and listing appointments I've had, what I have learned is people that don't understand the process likely have a reasonable amount of fear, and they can't make decisions without understanding objectively how it all works. They can put too much faith in well, maybe it's just not the right time. And that to me is complete BS. Like, it is not about not being at the right time, or maybe the universe just didn't want us to have this. It is clearly understanding how it all works. And when you understand how the process works and it's been explained to you and you've developed a certain amount of trust with that person, you can make decisions, and you can make really hard decisions in what would consider be a stressful time. So I think anytime you're looking at what did work, you have to also reflect on what didn't work. And I'm guilty of what I call like the shiny object syndrome, where we get inundated with all these different things that we can be doing, whether it has to do with social media, how you run, for sale by owners and expired listings, and let me add this subscription, all of these things. And guilty, been there, done that, paid that subscription, didn't work. So this year we did try to do a farming postcard. We send currently postcards out to all of our clients. We usually send at least 20 postcards a year to our clients. And we've done that consistently for the last 3 years, and it's a great touch points for our current clients. So we had tried to apply that same philosophy to a neighborhood close to where I live, and we just were not consistent with it. So we shelved that because we found that we couldn't be consistent with that. And we just didn't feel like the return on our investment was worth it currently. Now we have increased kind of our social media presence, either through Instagram and YouTube, and we're trying to apply the same kind of philosophies of consistency with that in connecting with our clients or the interwebs, because we understand that sort of consistency and value and showing up as being genuine and our authentic selves is what our current clients appreciate and why they keep coming back to us. So we're always going to work to try new things, reach new people, but what we kind of keep coming back to is sticking to what are your 2 to 3 most important pillars of your business. For us, that's past client referrals, open houses, and just picking up the phone when your phone rings and taking the call. Because if I answer a phone call from somebody that's calling me on my side, I can usually convert them to a client. When I first got into real estate 11 years ago, I told myself that anybody that's going to buy a house from me then doesn't know me. And so I took that as a personal challenge. So I had to get in front of as many people as possible. And for me, that was open houses. So in the first 3 to 4 to 5 years, I built my business on open houses. And then those people have turned into what we consider our, past clients. And that has built my business. This past year, we were 86%. So out of basically 50 sales that we had, repeat clients or referrals from clients. 86%, that is a huge percentage. Now, a lot of people go, well, how many people do you have in your database? We have 350 mailing addresses in our database, and we work that database in a way that feels genuine and not salesy, right? Like, I'm not bombarding my clients with weekly emails. We are sending them what we hope to be a value emails, connection, knows that I'm gonna send them a text message every once in a while. We send them postcards of value, not how many houses we've sold, but maybe it's grandma's cookie recipe, who knows? But all that to say is we work that address and that database really hard, but in a very genuine and authentic way that doesn't compromise our values of being of service to them. So every year, kind of circling back to kind of what we talked about earlier in this video in terms of evaluating, you know, what works, what doesn't work. I'm constantly, you know, our life balance as realtors is something we're always trying to attain, right? And even 11 years in the business, I'm no expert at it. I'm not perfect at it, but I've got 3 kids. They all play sports. They're all active. They're all doing 100 different things. And I want to be a part of that. I don't want to look back 10 years from now and go, oh God, I missed out on everything, but gosh, I sold a lot of houses, right? Like that's not the goal and the objective. It's to try to create as much balance as possible. And so this job requires constant evaluation of that to go, where do I want to be spending my time? Where do I want to be spending my energy? And where do I get my energy from, right? And so I every year look at and create a list of like, what do I love doing and what do I not love doing? And from that list, I go, okay, can I outsource this? Can I pay somebody to do this? How much time will that give back to me? Because it's either going to be time or money, right? That allows me to do the things in my list that I love doing, right? So for me, I love showing houses with clients. So I want to set up a way that allows me to be with my clients to build trust with them, which means I can't be running around putting supers at houses. So I have to have an assistant that helps me do those things. So if there is one thing that I can pass along to you as an agent looking into, you know, looking back at 2025, looking into 2026, would be to sit down with your piece of paper and write out what it is that you enjoy doing within the job and what are the things you don't enjoy doing. And when you look at that list and you're specifically looking at what I don't enjoy doing, are what things on that list can you hire out? And can you have somebody else do so that you can focus on the things that you enjoy doing? Because people feel the energy when you enjoy the things that you're doing. And then that will build on itself while somebody else takes care of all the things you don't. So for us, for the Aubrey team next year, we are currently refining the process of where I'm involved in it. I'm looking at bringing on like a buyer's agent, a buyer assistant, so that I can leverage my time in the evenings and on the weekends so that I can be more present with my kids and enjoy a vacation. And I don't have to have my computer like 2 feet away from me. So that's something that we're working on, and I'm trying to figure out how I provide that level of care and attention and personalness with someone that's not me. And that's really what we've spent a lot of time reflecting in our informational interviews that we've had with our clients from this past year, in understanding what's of most value to them that they get from me, and can that be replicated with somebody else. So thanks for joining us as we have reflected on 2025 and we look forward to 2026. Of course, if you enjoyed this content, anything you want to share about what you're doing in your business that has worked or hasn't worked, please comment below. And you support us by liking and subscribing our channel, which we would love for you to do right now. And we look forward to seeing you at the next video.